what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Boyos Discuss, the podcast where we pick a topic and then shoot the shit about it for a while. Today we're continuing our review of the Shrek series with Shrek Forever After. I'm Matthew, and I'm joined by my co-host Ross.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Harlan.
Howdy, guys. How you doing?
And Ben.
Yo.
So, as we've kind of done with each of these movies so far, did y'all have any initial thoughts or memories about this movie? Because this did come out in 2010, so by this time we were pretty old, considering what the target demographic is. But I think I did see it in theaters, but I don't remember liking or disliking it at the time. I was just kind of like, it's fine, I guess.
So the thing that I actually remember the most about it was the ads, because I saw the Puss in Boots sliding down that post over and over and over again.
Oh,
the longest
I
time.
think I remember that. Yeah.
So, that was really the only thing I really remembered, because we ended up buying the movie in 2011, 2012, and then we watched it. So, it wasn't nostalgic, I guess, because it was later on, but it was still good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember the ads, and I was annoyed at them, and I was like, oh my god, they're still doing Shrek. And it was weird, because, I just, buried this subliminally, and it was weird deja vu when the kid was like, do the roar! And I was like, what the fuck? I remember that.
God.
I was like, why do I know that? And I guess it was from the commercials, because it was so fucking overdone.
I think we've actually watched it together before.
Ben said he hadn't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen it either.
Maybe I was a fucking
I've definitely
patient,
watched it with Harlan and Ryan. I know that much, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much, all my memory. And I do remember the thing of Puss sliding down the cat post or whatever, so I have a lot of trivia for this movie, but I kind of want to mix some of it in as we discuss, so... Because there were some things that kind of worked into some of the notes that I'd taken, but just as I guess some top level, just basic stuff. It had a new director, Mike Mitchell, who had formerly worked on the second and third Shrek movies as an animator. He had directed Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. That was his directorial debut.
Hell yeah!
Which is
what a debut.
He also did
stellar movie.
He also directed Sky High.
Which, I actually liked that a lot.
I don't mind Sky High.
I mean, it was kids with superpowers. It's easy to milk that, I guess.
He also did Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecked and Lego Movie 2. So an interesting sort of mix of a weird adult comedy and kids stuff.
Movies.
Yeah. The budget was It's weird because it lists the budget between 135 and 165 million, because I guess that takes advertising into account or something like that.
Yeah.
And just for context, Shrek 3 had 160 million, so this was either more or less depending on how you look at it, I guess.
Isn't most of the budget for these things advertising? A quarter or a third is actually making the thing, and the rest is advertising?
That'd be my first guess, yeah. But still, compared to... Because the first one was $60 million, then Shrek 2 was $150 million, then $160 million for Shrek 3, so it kind of was, gradually going up, and then it kind of plateaued, I guess, at... the 160 million range, give or take.
And you know what? I bet Shrek, the first one, they just didn't advertise it nearly as much as the other ones because it wasn't as well known, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure they spent less on the movie, too, of course.
Oh, yeah. I think
theorizing.
It just got more expensive as they went along. At the box office, though, this one made $752 million compared to Shrek 3's $813 million, so... Pretty much since Shrek 2, they kind of gradually started to go down, which I think is kind of disappointing, because I think this movie is way better than Shrek 3.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was entirely Shrek 3. I think it was... Shrek 2 was really big, and then the target audience started to get older, and they didn't want to go see a Shrek thing. Mm-hmm. But then when the people who did see Shrek 2 just was so bad. When did Shrek 3 come out?
You mean Shrek?
Oh yeah,
3?
Shrek 3. Yeah. When
that
did
was-
Shrek 3 come out again?
It was either 2007 or 2008 because there was
Well,
like
like
a
we-
3-year
I thought it
gap
was 7.
between all of them. Yeah, I think it was 2007 as well.
Like we said about Shrek 3, it was just this like solely money milk or soulless money milk, and I was like, gross. And so when Shrek 4 came out, I was like, Jesus, can they just kill it already? And I imagined this would be another just like, because even the commercials were like, Rumpelstiltskin had a funny wig and fat cat, and I was like, God, kill me. Like, I don't want to see this fucking movie.
I was
and they
so
didn't-
surprised.
Yeah, it's complex and
After
good.
the
Like,
last one.
I'm upset that this one wasn't Shrek 3. Like, you could just switch a few things around and it would work perfectly. Take out the babies. We don't need that. It does nothing.
Yeah, for
what
real.
you do is Shrek doesn't want to be king, like in the third movie. He wants to be an ogre. Rumpelstiltskin wants to be king. Just have Shrek be like, sweet, it fixes both of our stuff. And then he learns, oh, I didn't know what I had till it's gone. Easy. Boom. Shrek 3.
Well,
But no,
exactly. And one of the things that I made a note of specifically, and there's a thing of trivia about it, was Arthur is not in this movie at all.
I mean, thank God.
Like, they don't reference him. He's not, like, in the post-credits, or during the credits, they show, like, basically a recap of the whole series.
Mhm.
They don't show Arthur in that recap.
I feel like they
They show
realized that they
everything
shoehorned
else.
him in,
Like-
and he didn't fit, and no one really connected to him, so there was no point in putting him in this one.
Yeah,
Or-
but I do have a bit of trivia about that. Controversy emerged after paparazzi photos revealed Justin Timberlake driving to the studio to record lines as Artie, and it claims that he was popular amongst fans, but that's just IMDb editorializing, I think. After he didn't appear at the premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival, it was soon revealed his scenes were deleted, yet they don't appear in the DVD features. Furthermore, his character never appears and is never mentioned, possibly showing director Mike Mitchell scrapped Artie altogether or forgot about him. So that's we're back. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. So we were talking about Arthur not being in the movie, really, despite being a pretty important part of the previous movie. And I think it was to this one's benefit, because no offense to Justin Timberlake, but he can't really act.
I don't know. I think it really depends on his director, but this is
And
a
his
discussion for
role.
another
I
time.
honestly kind of would have liked to see Arthur, but
Well, I think it
What?
would have
Why?
it would have tied things
not that
together.
much.
We
Just
need
something.
and just in general, there were a lot of things that were kind of like little Easter eggs that would have tied things together. It says in the trivia and the audio commentary of the DVD release, Mike Mitchell states that Brogan, who is that meathead ogre
John
guy,
Hamm.
Yeah.
it said that originally he was going to be Prince Charming, but they had turned him into an ogre as well, so he was going to have the same curse, and his name was going to be Nimrak, which is just charming spelled backwards. So
Oh my god.
That would have been kind of. That would have
I
been
don't
kind of
know.
funny.
That would have been meh.
I
feel
don't know.
like.
I just think it would have tied things together a little better, because the whole
I do
point
think
of this,
that Charming should have been in there at some point.
yeah. Well, the whole point of this movie was to be a conclusion for the franchise and tie everything together, sort of,
I mean, it would have been fitting, but Charming wasn't even in the first movie, so it's not like he had to be in all the movies.
But he is
Well, the
mentioned by
potential-
I
name.
get it. He was a
The
big
potential to
part.
make a spin-off game of Symphony of the Night with Charming and Nimrak. I mean, that's gold. How could they get that up?
But I guess we can go into the next topic, because that was the, I guess, only trivia I really had about that.
Do you
So,
want to
like
just start
oh yeah,
talking
no,
about the movie?
oh totally, yeah,
Yeah.
let's go for it, yeah.
And
Okay.
off the bat, it was better than Shrek 3. There was the storybook opening. Thank you.
Oh yeah, for
Wow.
sure. Well, and I love the
Ben
dynamic
needs his
of
storytelling.
Rumpelstiltskin telling it and then gradually getting angrier and angrier and
Yeah.
tearing the pages out. I really thought
Mhm.
that was, if that had been in Shrek 3, I think that would have been perfect as well, with Charming retelling it again, because he told it in Shrek 2 and then gradually getting angrier. That would have made
Yeah.
sense, I think. But
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the opening was really good, but I did not like the Shrek part when they cut to Shrek and Fiona after the storybook, and it's just the beginning was like the worst part for me. That scene, those few scenes with them, and not that it was bad. It was just like it didn't start it off nearly as good as the rest of the movie was. At least in my opinion, it seemed like, what's the premise? It's Shrek's midlife crisis or something. He's tired of all his boring ass children and chores and stuff. And also, if you make a montage like that, you can make just the few bad things in the day over and over again. But I don't know. It was all right. Also, that kid fucking sucked.
I thought it was
funny as
well.
I thought it was an excellent direction for what they were trying to do. I think if they were trying to make it so that they can extend the story, that's the perfect way to do it. The mundane forms of life, or how when the story is kind of over. I think that was perfect.
Yeah, and it's relatable, You're like, I finally got the things I wanted, but there's like, you don't just kind of hit this catharsis for the rest of your life, You kind of like, you reminisce and you think about what it could have been and stuff. I like, kids don't get that really.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know. It was just kind of a weird feeling I got from those scenes. I don't know. And it just didn't seem to match the rest of the movie for me, but it was a good starting off point for the rest of the movie. I agree.
It's pretty rapid.
I don't know how I would have done it differently, but it felt weird for me.
I don't know. For me, it was like, it was that relatable touch that the third one kind of lacked. Mm-hmm. That, that thing that, like, is a touchstone of, like, like, people go through stuff like that, and that's just something that you can kind of identify with, I guess, whereas Shrek 3 was not really that.
What I was afraid of is kind of what these movies do, and they're kids' movies, so I'll give it some slack, but they focus on Shrek and his problems, but like these aren't problems that would only affect Shrek. Like I'd like to see Fiona going like, Shrek, I'm dealing with this too, or Donkey talking about it, or like other characters having the conflicts that Shrek's having. And then later on, they develop Fiona a lot. So I was worried at first, but
I think it would have been cool, and I think that entire thing would have been answered with your concerns if they had just made all of the characters remember the experience rather than just Shrek.
Well, and that's,
if they had done that,
I have a question about that. Like, all the other ogres are in the ending credit scene, so it's like, do they?
I think that was no, they don't exactly exist. I don't think. I think it was just to make it so that the credits scene looks better.
They wanted to be like, oh no, they're not dead. We didn't just snuff out an entire reality's existence. No, it's fine. They're all happy.
What did y'all think of the? Because I don't know, it's a pretty big trope, I guess, with like time travel movies and stuff. Them being like, and if you don't solve it in such and such a time, you're not going to exist anymore. What did y'all think of that entire aspect of it? I guess.
I mean, I thought it was fine. It gives it a time limit, kind of a sense of urgency. The one thing I like, and it's because movie obviously is the answer, but it's like, okay, they did a lot of shit for one day, but other than that, I think it was a good thing. Like with the okay, we're on a mission, we got to do some shit, and it's like Donkey meets Shrek again. I kind of like them not knowing what, the other characters not knowing what happened.
I thought it was so cool the way that they had everybody introduce themselves in a similar yet slightly different way from the first movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, one thing in particular that I enjoyed was in the original, Shrek is trying to get rid of Donkey, or he's trying to get him to leave him alone, basically.
Yeah.
And he's just walking away from him. And then in this one, Shrek is trying to be friends with Donkey, and Donkey's fucking terrified of him. And he's just trying to get as far away from him as he can, but yeah.
And I agree with Harlan too. It's similar to the first one, but it's different enough to where it's something new to the viewer. It's kind of like episode 3 and episode 4 and episode 7, I guess.
Yeah.
A little bit, but better, I think, honestly.
If you sat me down in the board meeting and you just kind of ran through how the plot's going to go and the beats and, he's going to go back in time and, no one's going to remember him and, he's going to have to find true love again, I'd be like, yawn, that sounds really fucking boring. Mm-hmm. But it makes the movie a lot better with just how well they did that. I haven't seen this plot pulled off as well as it was in this movie. Of the like, ooh, better get your true love's kiss by the end of the day. You know, even when I think of is like Beauty and the Beast, maybe I almost I like this direction more. It just was more organic.
One I did like,
especially the way that they made it so that she kind of despised herself being human. She and the way that she or like even how Shrek kind of realized immediately after he kissed her and she kissed him, the way that whole scene was where Shrek was in love with her, and it was like true love's first kiss again for him, but not for her. It even shows it, like the artistry scene through that, and then instantly falls away, and he already knows the reason why it didn't work was because she's not in love with him.
Yeah.
The way that the True Love's first kiss just went through this was the best representation I've seen in a long time. It was very well done. I agree.
Yeah, at first I assumed they were going to make that, like, be it working and that's the end of the contract or something at that point. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, they fell in love off that. Like, what? That's a horrible storyline. But then they don't let that happen and they bring it back to the end and they actually develop their newish relationship again. So it's not like a cheap, like, oh, they had to fall in love and we kind of forced it in a day type thing. I was worried.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was probably the most, it really started impressing me, and I focused a little more on how they were doing the story when, like, they were doing Shrek and Fiona are, like, they're sparring. And, you know, Shrek the whole time was like, no, you have to love me, blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of annoying. And I was like, yeah, whatever. This is going to be dumb how it's going to unfold. But that was like really
it was
organic. I was like, that's nice. Yeah. That was a nice little scene. Like I felt it and it progressed normally. Like that was good. And then further on, you know, when they're with Dragon and he's telling her the names of their kids and stuff, and it was really good. I felt it.
Yeah, there were some real feels in this one, and like for sad feels. After he flew off with Donkey and Donkey ran away and he's sitting there crying and he's like, damn man, and I never knew what I had until it's gone type of thing, of course. And then after he finds Fiona's tower empty, I was like, oh my god, my heart, like I knew she wasn't going to be there, but my heart's breaking for him right now.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Well, I thought the humor in this one was really, really out of the world too. Like it was kind of on the nose, but the part where it was like, how about that for a metaphysical paradox for you and stuff, where it was talking about how I took the day where you were born, so if this day ends, it doesn't go back to normal. You just cease to exist. Like you're not even stuck here. It was so good. And then like along the lines with the True Love's first kiss thing, I wanted to say that when he was kind of like dying, I guess. I almost thought that it was just going to stay that way. No, I knew that it wasn't, but I almost thought that it was just, oh yeah, Shrek's dead.
The end.
Dude, franchise over.
No, I feel you, because I was like, either Shrek's dead or this entire fucking universe is dead.
Well, also the old universe too, you know. But I think they had similar characters, so I think the thing wasn't like the people were gone, it's just their lives were entirely different. I think is the whole
Shrek
thing.
was never born.
Yeah. Right. So I guess Shrek was gone, and Fiona's parents, but Frog Daddy was kind of gone anyways.
No, dude, this movie made me bust out a bunch of times. Like Fat Puss was fucking hilarious. Like that shit made me laugh so hard. And he's like, stretching out down, and like drinking the milk, and I love the Pied Piper.
Dude, that was so funny.
Yeah, it reminded me of like my favorite part of the first Shrek with the Robin Hood Men in Tights. And they're just like goofy, but like trying to be intimidating.
Yeah, the goofy half villain kind of.
Yeah, it was great. I love that, and it popped, dude. With those ogre fans, I was like,
And Donkey was hilarious again, dude. Like, the third movie lacked a lot of things, but definitely the humor. And Donkey was a major part of the humor in the first and second one, and he clapped back in this movie.
Yeah,
so much better.
I do have a bit of trivia about the Pied Piper. So it was played by Jeremy Steig, who's a well-known jazz flutist, but he's the son of William Steig, who wrote the Shrek books. So,
Wait,
that's really cool.
yeah,
That
so
is cool.
That's a neat little tidbit, I guess. But yeah.
Dang, interesting.
So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
If there was a Shrek 5, would you be into it? Would you watch it?
That's well, we can kind of go into that topic right now. Would y'all say that this was a fitting conclusion to the Shrek franchise overall?
I think
Absolutely.
so. I think so. Like it's like he lives the ogre life, and that's how it starts. We don't get to see much of that, but we get the feel, and then we see his development into this new kind of person. I mean, ogre, of course, but person, you know. And then he gets this new life, and he's this whole different person, essentially. And then he's like, well, maybe I kind of miss that. Maybe I kind of missed that. And then he realizes, no, he's got everything he wants. He's happy. I don't know what you do after that. I think it's a good conclusion.
Well, and it was just
And there
so
should have just been no
final,
Shrek 3.
And things came full circle. They didn't just kind of go like, yeah, and the story's over. Like, they brought everything kind of back. Like, they ended it with I'm a Believer, which was great. And it was by Weezer, and I was like, even better. And then they Shrek literally shelves his own book, and then there's the recap in the credits. Like, it's fucking over. It's called the final chapter. Like,
Yeah.
be done. That finished it. Everyone's relationship is stronger. You get more depth with Shrek's character and everybody's character, really. And it's like, please let that be the end. Please. Like, I would watch a Shrek the Fifth just because we've done this podcast and I feel obligated at this point. But I wouldn't be happy about it.
I mean, they had, out of 4 movies, they had 2 bangers, 1 milking for money flop.
Dude, this was
garbage.
a banger. I'd say 3 bangers.
Really?
I
I think this
yeah.
one was really close.
No,
to
I
the
liked it a
first
lot.
2.
Yeah.
But I think after watching the third one, it kind of also made this one better.
Yeah.
I think this one was really good, especially much better than I was expecting, but I don't think it was on par with the first 2.
I'll give you a hot take. I think this one was almost as good as the first one. Not as good, but I think it was almost there.
And you like the
half
second
step.
one the best, right, Harlan?
Yeah, I think the second one is my favorite.
Okay, so I would agree with that then.
Yeah. I'd say that's a fair way to assess it.
But I really do think that this one is very, very good. Like,
This
the
is
whole... Oh, go ahead.
So, I was just going to say, Shrek has been consistently better than the other alternate stuff, or the mainstream stuff that was coming out at that time with Disney and stuff. And this movie is still better than a lot of Disney movies I've seen.
Wow.
The characters and everything, yeah. Well, just like the development and how much you care.
Okay,
and it's, like, I'd put it up there.
Yeah.
I would say this is better than Tangled or whatever.
Bella does not agree.
Yeah, Bella
Well, I'll say I think it's better. I
Stop.
think it's better than Frozen.
sleeping
Like,
on the
Frozen
couch.
didn't really have that much character
Yeah.
development. It had good songs. It had good animation. And
Yeah.
like likable characters, but it didn't have this like depth to it. A lot of kids movies don't, and I'm always surprised to see it in anything.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I just agree.
So,
with that,
bouncing off of that, back to kind of what Harlan was talking about, they're talking about doing either like a Shrek 5 or like a reboot entirely of this. Do y'all think that's a good idea?
Oh,
I mean, I
a
think it would make
reboot?
money.
I don't think so.
No,
I think it would make plenty of money.
If they could somehow get a good bit of the original team or like this director or something, because with your fun fact or trivia that this director Mike Mitchell worked on the animation team for the second and third movies, then it's like, okay, I get how he was able to bring some of the goodness back. But if they just went for a 5th one, I think now, so many years later, it would probably be a money grab, and they wouldn't have enough of the original like writing and feel for the characters and how like the flow is supposed to go in Shrek, and it just would not be the same. I don't know. If they made a Shrek 3 in like 2013 or Shrek 5 in 2013, I wouldn't be too mad about it because, again, 2.5 bangers, or well, two bangers and almost a banger, at least in my opinion. I would respect the fifth one, and it would probably be good, but I don't think now. I think now would be bad.
Well, it's just I feel like Shrek isn't normal. You can't like recapture the way you nailed the first two movies and then had another one like stay true to the spirit and like this one did. Like that doesn't happen. Like movies don't usually do that. I don't trust them at all to do it again because it surprises me now that this movie pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm surprised the second movie pulled it off. I'm surprised the first movie was as good as it was. Like all of them were surprising.
Yeah, for sure.
He's making burritos.
It's lunchtime. That's fine.
But yeah, I don't trust them at all. I don't trust Hollywood to make good movies like this. So.
I would have to look into it more, but I imagine by now so much of the team that worked on the original 4 are gone. You know, like I imagine all the writers are gone. You know, they're at other companies now and stuff. So I just, unless you had some like, because, you know, granted, like if it's younger people who are like up and comers and they grew up with Shrek and they have like a lot of admiration for it, then I guess there's maybe an argument to be made that they could do something interesting. But
my thing is like if you take a mainstream character. Like, I think that's what allowed Shrek to be what it is because no one knew who Shrek was. So that first movie gave him a lot of freedom with the characters and the story. I think if you take a character now like Shrek, who's so mainstream, you make a movie, you're going to try to make as much money as possible and please everybody. And when you try to please everybody, you can't focus on anything real that might be daring. And that's kind of what we've seen with every time they try to like reboot something. And it's just, I don't see it being good. I don't like the first year.
I agree with the can't do anything real that would be daring because either you upset people a bunch by changing things that are kind of set in stone, or you just do something boring that's already been done 4 times already. You know,
yeah. Let's look at the Star Wars sequels.
If they redid this, I think it would just be bad, especially so many years later.
So I think what would end up happening is the original thing is like it's supposed to be a reboot. So I think it would just be a reboot like Teen Titans Go or something of that nature where they change the animation style entirely, trying to make it be a little bit different or a little bit quirky and end up basically bastardizing the concept entirely. If what we got when it was still doing well for the third was Shrek the Third, I have no doubt that they will do a very poor job of...
I don't remember how long ago it was, but like there had been a picture that circulated online from I think it was Illumination Entertainment of what their Shrek reboot was going to look like. And Illumination, they're the ones who do Despicable Me, so it looked like that kind of style and cheapness, I guess. You know, it didn't have the same I guess quality that you would have expected for Shrek, but I think they ended up scrapping that iteration of the remake or reboot or whatever you want to call it, just because the reception was pretty poor. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of that and I'll send it to you.
Oh, I see a picture of Shrek. Yeah, his face looks kind of weird.
Yeah, it's not great. And just Illumination in general as the studio to do a Shrek movie just doesn't really fit for me, I guess. Like, it just, I don't know. It would have been a weird choice, and I hope they don't go with them.
It would have been a cash grab.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that.
Illumination Studio is horrible to their workers and is known for just making subpar things. They were the ones who made the Emoji Movie. They were the ones who did the Despicable Me stuff. It was, Minions. It was, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm happy that they're not doing it.
But
so Ross says his computer blue screen, so he'll be back.
Oh. Well.
PCs.
That's all right.
Aren't they great?
Are we still going?
Yeah, let's just keep going. It's fine.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, if we're talking about, we talked about all the good things about this movie. I think the weak things, the biggest weak point is the villains. Rumpelstiltskin was not intimidating at all, and the witches.
No, I thought he was very intimidating.
Really?
Like, because his power is so like all-encompassing. Like, he can do anything. It's kind of like did either of y'all watch Wonder Woman 1984?
No, I haven't seen
The
it.
whole thing with the villain in that is like he can grant wishes, but he takes something in return, type
like
of deal.
Monkey's Paw.
Yeah, so it's like he's super powerful because of that, and he's gaining so much as he goes. Like, just taking whatever it is that makes him more powerful. I guess.
Well, it's not that his power isn't intimidating, because this is the highest stakes in a Shrek movie, hands down. Like, he had everything to lose. Like, the world would be fucked if he lost. So it was, like, I felt the stakes, but Rumpelstiltskin himself, licking frosting off cherries and putting wigs on and being a short guy with a nasally voice, it just, I wish he was a little better than that. And the witches just were kind of there. Like, they were there for the chase scenes and stuff, and that's
I did like there's the part where he has the glass of water. And
and he's
the fucking reference to Wizard of Oz. I thought that was really
it was
really
also like
clever.
James Bond, where he's got the boardroom table and threatening to like kill people who fail and stuff. I thought that was
he killed one of them.
Yeah, no.
And then so people die in this one.
A lot of
the
people.
gingerbread man was eaten by Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
like straight up. And then I loved the way that all they were attacking all of the witches in the final scene, and people were straight up just dying. It was nice.
Well, there's just in general, because I watched this movie with my family, and they were like, "This one's weirdly dark compared to the other ones." Like, you have weird ogre slavery going on in the fucking kingdom, with them being the ones who open the gate and stuff like that. It's weird. And
I like that it was a dystopia for Shrek. In the third movie, the villains take over and there's a coup and all the soldiers follow Charming. Made no sense. It was dumb. Why would people go with that? In this one, it's like Rumpelstiltskin's the ruler and he makes everybody hates ogres. If Shrek never rescued Fiona, everyone hates the ogres. So it's only a dystopian future for the ogres. I'm sure the people are still fine and normal and far, far away.
No, the people were doing pretty bad because the people's king was now Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
It did seem like Rumpelstiltskin kind of just planned. After he went back and took over, since Shrek didn't exist, he planned this whole thing for the day that he'd see Shrek.
Oh yeah,
I think thinking about it. Did they show the citizens of Far, Far Away at all?
They kind of do. They show Gingy and the baker guy, and he's making them do I don't know, a cage fighting thing.
Yeah.
And people are betting on it, and they're like, yeah. And later on, when Shrek shows up at Far, Far Away, there are some townspeople, and they're like, fuck this guy. We're gonna fucking turn him in to.
I guess that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of the montage where he's having a good time being an ogre.
Oh yeah,
and all the
but
that's
nice just in a village. Yeah.
But there's also the part where they're calling out to. He's giving the best deal of all, and he ends up giving it. He's calling out to the people, and then they show the townspeople. It's lovely denizens of Far, Far Away, and then the dude's
they're on the mirror and stuff.
Yeah,
they're all peasants, actual peasants.
Yeah,
they got it bad.
Doing well.
All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So I felt it more. It felt more reasonable. It wasn't just a plot hole like the third movie.
Oh yeah. So if we're talking about Rumpelstiltskin, I really liked him. I think he might be the best Shrek villain in my opinion. And his nobody's smart but me thing, I could not think of anything else other than Aggie Bin. And I say that in lieu of last names, since, we might blow up someday. But, but dude, it's like if someone took Ben and made him into the best Shrek villain ever. It's just super wacky, witty, and doing some weird shit. Nobody's smart but me.
Legal shit.
Yeah, legal loopholes and stuff. Dude, I love that. Also, his hair looked like Ben's hair in high school, kind of. It is perfect.
Oh, man. I wish you said that before I watched the movie because
dude,
Yeah,
oh my
it
gosh,
made it even
can
better.
you not like you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Ben,
I don't know.
shout
That
out
may
to
make
you. I
this
hope
movie
you
better
hope
than
you listen to
episode
this.
1 for me.
Mm.
Episode 4 is better than episode 1.
Episode.
Well, I don't know if you had this trivia ready, Matthew, but I noticed it in the credits. Was the head of story for this movie was the voice of Rumpelstiltskin? It was Walt.
Yeah, yeah, I did
and so
have that. Yeah,
Rumpelstiltskin literally made the story to this. I thought that was just funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of ironic.
yeah, that was So with that, he like whenever they storyboard movies, they kind of have the people who work on it just say the lines, kind of, so they have an idea of what it's like. And they just liked his version of that character so much, and they didn't think they could get anyone who sounded like him, that they were like, okay, we're just gonna have you do it. So
That's funny.
yeah,
Yeah, I felt smart. I was like, haha.
He was perfect. Oh my gosh.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was. I thought he was
He
great
was
as well.
he was
Yeah.
funny. He was kind of spooky at parts. He was so like witty, outsmarting people and like screwing them over with it. It was awesome. Oh my gosh. I
When
love
he's
it.
like-
It sounded like he was doing a Rick and Morty impression sometimes. I was like,
yeah, true.
Nah,
Hey, that
Rick and
was
Morty are
pre-Rick
doing
and Morty,
impressions of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mama, I'm stuck under the carriage, Rick. Help. I don't know. He wasn't intimidating to me. I like what he set up and all that, but him personally, I just kind of didn't really feel it.
I mean,
This is
as a physical being, no. Physically, he wasn't intimidating.
Well,
But
and
he,
his
like,
voice and his hair.
outsmarted people all the time.
And just skipping around and
I don't know. I
Yeah,
thought the
but-
wings thing was kind of
I
funny.
don't know.
So what did y'all think of that?
I
last-
because he had
really
the mind
liked
of a
the Wigs
child.
thing. I thought it was funny, too.
I'm sorry that you're over here overcome with sadness. I can enjoy
I'm
a
not-
movie and not worry
I'm not-
about this poor boy's
I
hair.
like this movie.
I love this movie. I think it's better than the first one.
This was good.
Dude, I want to go to that sick as fuck witch rave. Like, I saw that, I was like, yo, where's
Yeah.
my invite? Like, send me
Yeah.
that way. They were fucking jamming. I was like, hell
True.
yeah. I'm sure there's got to be a hot witch. Like, there's so many. Like, there's got to be a few that you can just...
Well, there was,
Be able to
did
get
you
a drink
see
for or
other
something.
ogres. Speaking of hot versus not hot, did you see the fucking ogres? Dude, like the female ogre looks like handsome Squidward. Like,
Oh yeah, dude. No,
Yeah.
I didn't realize
What?
that was a lady until later on.
yeah.
They make they do something with Donkey, and then she's like, "I'd kiss him," or like, there's some weird thing, and it's like, "Oh shit, that's a woman."
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Yeah. dude.
And then Fiona be out there like, okay, actually, this is like, I think she looks
Rocking
the best
the-
in this
rocking
movie.
the
She looks the
cleavage,
most attractive in this movie.
For an ogre, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean for an ogre.
I mean,
of
yeah,
course,
for,
yeah.
I guess
She has the
for
flowing
ogre.
hair.
Attractive.
I thought she and Brogan were
fighting
going to be
spirit.
smashing, and that
Oh,
was
she
going
was
to be
hot,
in the
dude.
way of
Ruh-roh.
her and Shrek.
Or if Fiona was hot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What
I
did
did
y'all?
think...
I was gonna say, what did y'all think of the thing they do with their noses, blowing out their ears?
That was
didn't-
kinda
That
neat.
I thought it was kind
hilarious.
of creepy.
I didn't know.
That was dumb.
I didn't like it.
Cool.
I didn't
Yeah, I
know we
didn't like
could
it
do
either.
that.
It just
But
came out of
I
nowhere.
like the reaction. I like the Shrek was like, what the fuck?
yeah.
But it was dumb. I thought it was kind of
Yeah, I think that's why I liked it, because Shrek was like, what the fuck? And then he did it.
It'd be like, no, I'm not going to go there. But it was just weird.
It was weird that
Donkey
they did it
said-
at the dinner table randomly, but if they did
Yeah.
it like as their signal for something, or like if they beat the witches or something, and then we're like, yeah, nose horn shit. I
Yeah.
don't know. That would make more sense. But they were just like, oh yeah, dinner. I don't know.
I thought the waffles in the forest thing was dumb. I wish he just kind of like came across, or ogres were going to ambush, and then they're like, oh, look, an ogre or something. Like, I thought it was a really weird, convoluted way to get Donkey and Shrek into their hideout.
Yeah.
It was just like, they went too hard on the homage to the I'm making
Yeah.
waffles bit. Because everyone
Right.
loved that, and they're like, dude, Donkey can't resist no waffles,
Yeah.
man. They look
That was
too
just
nice.
weird. It was weird.
It's like,
It was
okay.
a really weird transition, but I
Yeah.
don't know. That just threw me. That took me out of it for a second.
I mean, yeah, again, it was hard sell to the I'm making waffles.
but did we talk about the music yet? Because the music slapped.
Let's just we can talk about that. Yeah, I didn't think it was as good as the first or the second one's music, but it was a lot better than Shrek 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of the general, I guess, vibe of this movie overall is like, yeah, it's not as good as 1 or 2, but like when you hit the low of Shrek 3, it's like, you know, just having anything that's even a little inspired after that goes a long way, I think. Especially with
Yeah. I guess it gets bonus points for coming after Shrek 3, in my opinion. I think that adds to it, but on its own, if this was the only Shrek movie, or something like that, I think it could stand alone. Like, I don't think it's better than...
I mean, it kind of needs the previous story for this.
Yeah, like, I don't think it could stand alone because of that, but I think it's good enough, like, on its own.
But you're saying if it could stand alone plot-wise, then you think it might be roughly on par with the first one.
Yeah.
I get you.
Like, I don't keep track of songs I don't care about. Like, if they just throw a song and it doesn't fit or something, I'm like, whatever. But I liked the song they played when they're riding on Dragon into Far, Far Away at the beginning of the movie. It's called, like, Isn't It Strange? I really like that one. And then there's the Top of the World song when Shrek is the ogre, and it just fit, like, so perfectly. Like, oh my god, like, I love being hated. It's so good. And it's, like, such a nice song for, like, harassing and destroying shit.
It was fun. It was good.
And, yeah, the witch chase when, like, Donkey and Shrek are getting away the first time after Rumpelstiltskin, after the witch rave. It was sick. And they're flying through and they get out of the castle. That was I was like, man, dude, this music is fucking, that's the Shrek that I wanted to hear. And they do like, Orkano Flow when, Rumpelstiltskin's talking about the, Deal of a Lifetime. And I love that song on its own. So I was happy to hear it. And then the Weezer, I'm a Believer. Like, those are 5 good songs that I had to, like, stop and look up. I was like, because those are good ones.
Yeah.
No, right,
I liked them a lot.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing. It's just like, I don't know. Like I said, I prefer the music in the first and the second one, but...
yeah, I guess I do too, but...
Yeah.
I prefer the first and the second movie as well.
Yeah. But
it's close.
It was a stronger showing, though, and that's what's important.
Totally carried the spirit.
The third one. Yeah.
All right. If Shrek 2 is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, but the Shrek version, this is It's a Wonderful Life, but it's the Shrek version.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Does that make it a Christmas movie?
Absolutely, it does.
Okay.
Dude, nice.
So, does anyone have any, like, final thoughts, or are we, like...
Oh, I was gonna say along the lines of music, we usually go with animation around that time with the music. Animation was, I think, pretty good. Did y'all notice when the blacksmith at the ogre camp was hammering the sword?
No.
And it was all, like, fiery and stuff and had cracks and whatnot. That looked awesome. Y'all should go back and look at that, because that was really cool. And then all of Rumpelstiltskin's golden poofs with his magic, that looked really pretty. Other than that, it looked like the art was kind of back to the level of 1-ish, I think. Like, it was good, for sure.
I actually think that the witches looked incredible.
The witches looked pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I did think that the animation looked better than, because, like, I don't know, it was like Shrek 1 was, like, the base point, Shrek 2 looked better, then Shrek 3 looked more like Shrek 1, like, it wasn't as good, but then Shrek 4, I feel like, looked the best out of all of them, I'd say, just in terms
like
of,
Donkey looked really good with the fur and stuff, and it was all matted, and like that, and I don't know, like, the features on people, I guess I talked about in 2 or something, they look kind of too smooth or doll-like almost. This movie didn't really have that. I saw texture. There was really good shading, and like lighting and stuff, just like how they did it on people's faces in specific times and where the lights were coming from and how it affected the environment. I was impressed with that. Like I didn't think the animation increased that significantly, but the lighting and the shading and the like fur effects were noticeable.
That's a good point. There were just a few magical things for me with Rumpelstiltskin's stuff and like that.
Yeah, the effects did look cool.
Oh my god.
And when Shrek, like all the birds come apart, like when his entire world disintegrates, he's falling
Oh,
through
yeah.
all that stuff.
That
That's
looks
pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
I was very
They also made
impressed with
Shrek
the
wear a
animation.
hairnet, which I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I liked that look. It was uncomfortable.
It's like, I get the joke, but why?
Yeah, him in camp, like acting like kind of normal dude around the ogres for in some ways, like being kind of weird, trying to get Fiona onto him at the first way he was doing it, and then being kind of like the new guy bitch in the ogre camp. It was a little strange. To
I
see.
always forget this guy's name, and I feel so bad. But he was like Daryl in The Office, and he was in Hot Tub Time Machine, and you know those stupid movies.
Yeah, I know you're.
Oh yeah.
He was the cook.
Oh,
Really?
I loved that.
Yeah.
That was
Right,
a great.
I
ogre.
noticed
Yeah.
immediately. I was like, "Is that dude?" And then they showed the credits, and I was like, "I don't remember his name." And then I looked up the name, and I was like, "Yeah, that guy." And I still don't remember his name, but he's hilarious. I love hearing him. And they got Eddie Murphy to say, "What you talking about, Cracker?" So,
Yeah.
Dude, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
that
yes.
gets points.
And like cookies are called crackers some places, I think. I don't know, but
They're called
yeah, it was
biscuits.
dope.
We know why you
whatever,
said it, Ross.
Close enough. Oh yeah, I know why you said it. It was great. I guess my last comments on it were that's a long ass day, which I mean, yeah, that's because movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
The Shrek's kids, it's their 1-year-old birthday party, and that kid is talking to him like pretty damn well.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then,
but only like some of the time. Also,
Well,
like,
yeah, true.
yeah. So
It's
a weird.
relatively inconsistent.
Yeah.
I don't like the kids part of
I don't
this
know.
movie in the last movie.
I
They're not
feel like they
necessary.
just had to do it because of Shrek 3. Like, it would have been
Yeah.
too big of a difference.
Yeah,
But the kids
no, you're
really
right.
didn't do anything to the story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the kids didn't really add or gain anything. I think, if anything, it just made it so another thing that Shrek could talk to him. I don't think it really took away from the story very much.
No, they want to do, like, Cabbage Patch Shrek babies, and that's all.
Yeah, the babies were certainly for toys. I mean, 100%.
Get Shrek baby doll that really poops.
Ugh.
That was
Green
like a
poop.
thing,
I
I'm
hope that
sure.
was not real. Although
That
I
was a
wouldn't put it
thing.
past him. One last thing that I noticed in the movie was in the credits, they're like actually torturing Rumpelstiltskin, and then they murder his pet. It's
Yeah.
They're gonna eat Rumpelstiltskin. Like, that was what they were gonna do. They say we're gonna have a weirdo with curly toes for breakfast. They're gonna
Oh
fucking
my
eat
god.
But dude, they
funny.
murdered his pet in front of him too. That's just like that.
What did they
It was
do
a
to the
little
goose? I
harsh.
forget.
it.
Like
Fiona's singing, and she goes,
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. She sings
Oh,
the
it
bird
blows
to
him
death.
up? Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's barbaric.
That's
fucked up.
And
I
it's
mean,
like
they are fucking ogres.
got-
I mean, shit.
I-
Good God. I like how the
Yes.
first few movies tried to establish that ogres are people too, and then they're like, "Nah, fuck it, we're ogres."
that is kind of how they went. But I guess Shrek decided that he wanted to be people at the most at the end, anyways. I don't know.
He's
So,
okay
if
with
they're
the
gonna do a
tours.
Shrek 5 or reboot, it's not gonna be Mike Myers. What the fuck are they gonna do?
What do you mean?
Mike Myers was
I
sounding
don't
old
know.
in this movie, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, he was saying a few things where I was like, this
Grandpa
guy's getting-
Shrek.
He's getting a little old for this role. Like,
Yeah,
Eddie
they
Murphy's
should
having
do it
fun.
like Donkey Kong. They should call it Shrek, but really it just is Shrek Jr., Fargus, or Fergal.
Virgil. Yeah, that's some good trivia. What are all Shrek's babies' names? So we get you a second
Felicia.
place at the local pub.
Yeah, it's Felicia, Fargal, and Fergal. Or
I don't think it's
Fargus.
Sparkle and
Fergus.
Fergal.
It's Fergus and Fergal. Fergal and Fargal. That's what
Tiddle,
I'm naming
tattle,
my
and
kids.
twat.
That's got to be the name of your kids now.
It's happening. Fergal and Fargal.
Because Shrek, Bella. That's why.
Yeah, it's a Shrek.
Anyone else got any final thoughts about the movie?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. I'm really happy that they did make a fourth. I wish that they hadn't made a third.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Basically that. It was nice to have this after the third one.
Yeah.
It was kind of
I totally think that it was
kind of a
worth it.
comeback.
It makes the third movie worse because it made me not watch this.
True. Yeah, that's and I think as an ending for the franchise, I think it was a really good fit. Despite the fact that early on they had planned on doing like 5, and this was like originally it was going to be called Shrek Goes Forth, but they just ended up deciding that based on how the story was, they were like, okay, let's just end it here, type of deal. And they should just leave it at that. Like, I think that's, it doesn't need to be rebooted with fucking Illumination.
I mean, it's 11 years later. I think they should just let it be done.
Yeah.
I don't know. But speaking on the reboot, I missed this a bit. But so like the pictures, by the Illumination, like it goes back to what Ben said on if they did a reboot, it would just be like even if they made it kind of different, people wouldn't like it because it's different than what we know to be good as Shrek. And it's like it didn't seem like if it was a new thing, their reboot images of Shrek could be like it's well animated. It looks good. It's just that I already know what Shrek and Donkey are supposed to look like, and everything being a little different looks weird and bad to me.
Well, it's
like I just don't see the cast coming back for this. Like Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers. I don't see them doing more.
Oh yeah,
so it'd be different,
definitely
and
not.
it would not be right.
And I just don't know that a decade is long enough of a time for you to be like, okay, we have to reboot it now. Like, I don't know, usually like 20 years or something like that. In between iterations, I guess that makes a little more sense. But 10 years later, it's like you have enough of a memory of what the original was like that it's harder to do like a reboot, I guess.
They need to wait till people our age start having kids, and then we'll take our kids to go see it because we're like, oh yeah, we like Shrek.
People our age are having kids.
But they're like, fuck,
I think
right.
if they did it by 2024, it's a good.
Or they could just not reboot shit and make some new original stuff like Shrek 1
but
was
money.
New and original. I know, but still, like, I know it's cheaper to just reboot something, but good God, we've had too much of that in the past handful of years. It's like, I don't know. That's one thing that's, I'm sure everyone's kind of tired of, all the reboots.
Yeah, I am a fan of original ideas.
I mean, they gotta be good, but, you know, some of them are gonna be bad. It just happens.
Yeah.
Like ants.
Yeah.
Ant Bully.
Full circle.
You could watch the Ant Bully.
Fuck no.
I want to watch Over the Hedge again, no lie.
Oh, God. Is that DreamWorks? Is that...
Yeah.
Dude, it's not
like,
good. You're going to rewatch it and you're going to be like, wow, it's even worse than I
don't know, man. I
don't want to commit to doing all the DreamWorks movies because that's too fucking many. But like,
and half of them are garbage.
Yeah.
And we'd have to watch Shark Tale.
Yeah, I was about to
I like
say
Shark Tale. Let's watch Shark Tale.
No.
I
like Shark Tale.
I'd be down to do like a couple one-offs here and there for like DreamWorks stuff. But
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's something we'll have to put a pin in for now. Anyone got anything to plug?
Wait. You still got some points that we kind of didn't. Did y'all rank the villains?
No, I mean, I think we kind of got a gist of how we feel about it. Like, unless you want to throw y'all's rankings out for the villains of Shrek.
Well, we could all hate on Ben for thinking Farquaad.
Yeah, I feel like if people have been paying attention, they'll know where I stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And as far as the rankings of the movies go, I think we've kind of, I think we've gotten the gist of that as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry to interrupt your ending.
Oh, you're good, man. So does anyone have anything to plug?
Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/lharlito. Maybe if you follow, I'll stream.
Probably by whatever the fuck you cooked in your microwave. That wasn't a sponsor. You were making people hungry.
Yeah,
Brought to you by Hot Pockets.
I'm sponsored by Hot Pockets and
not actually sponsored.
Either molten or frozen. That's our slogan. Slogan.
Why not?
I like slogan.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
How about you, Ben? Anything?
I got Bubkus.
Nice.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. How about you, Ross?
I mean, my podcast will start at some point. I'll let y'all know when that happens.
Yeah. And I guess the only thing I have is, since some people may be listening to this on Spotify or whatever, check out Hey Ocarina on YouTube. There's 3 E's in the Hey. Or, no, why did I say 3 E's? I meant 5 E's.
Yeah, I was going to say sacrilege.
Yeah, so check out Hey Ocarina. That's where this is going to be uploaded if you want to watch a still image in addition to listening to this. So, anyways, thanks for watching. May all of your endings be happy.